We are born knowing nothing at all, and we gradually learn about the world around us through the senses of taste, smell, touch, sight, and hearing. Finding out if an object is rectangular, triangular, or circular is simple to do. It's also relatively simple to notice that the clouds are white, the leaves are green, and the sun is yellow. This is the point at which we start to thrive as individuals and learners. We can think and understand the difference between right and wrong. We can live until we grow up and become mature and good students. We go to the classroom to study, to learn the facets of life and conquer the challenges inside the school. Ladies and gentlemen, the key to future success in an array of opportunities in life is education. People who have received an education are better able to think, feel, and act in ways that support their success and enhance both their personal satisfaction and community as well. Education also molds a person's outlook on life, disposition, social interaction, and eagerness for something new. As educated people, we are considered as a valuable source of knowledge for our society. In this regard, education shapes our perception of challenges as something to keep growing and to fearlessly embrace new insights and experiences. Indeed, it is the main reason behind successful people. Education is therefore seen as the true success that lies behind all future success. And at this point of clock, join us to walk the journey of true education as we enter the life of teaching, molding for future education.
Courage, knowledge, and determination. These are the approaches that pedagogy experts should have. In Worksheet 1 entitled Teachers, Knowledge, and Pedagogy, pedagogy is a crucial component assisting the educators comprehending the most effective teaching lesson and running out a classroom. It helps them to understand how students acquire knowledge in a variety of ways, enabling them to design their lesson that meet their needs.
Learning effectively requires having a deeper comprehension of the subject matter. Hence, the four learning principles are crucial standards and criteria that influence education and instruction, reflecting the most beneficial ideas on learning and intelligence. Furthermore, they serve to focus not only on personal but also professional development. Moreover, this also encompasses teachers' ability to apply developmentally appropriate and meaningful pedagogy, categorizing in the classroom communication strategies by the resource teacher.
We consider learners from Staza National High School are all active and innovative students. Learning principle is one of the most vital tools to enhance learners' conducive and proactive learning management. Teachers play a crucial role because learning principle is not suitable for all students, but as a 21st century teacher, we think critically about what suits our students. Always remember, as a pedagogy expert, communication and collaboration with our students help to become more flexible. Teachers who possess strong communication skills can establish excellent relationships with their learners and have a deeper understanding of them. Additionally, teachers with strong communication skills may effectively manage their classrooms and settle disagreements. Teachers and parents must be able to communicate with one another.
Further, the principles of learning serve as the primary roadmaps for intelligent and effective teaching and learning. Hence, motivation is essential for shaping the direction, persistence, and caliber of the learning behavior of students undertake once they reach and have more control over what, when, and how they study. Also, students are more likely to highly motivated to study when they attach positive value to a learning objective or activity, anticipate achieving a desirable learning outcome, and having a sense of support from their surroundings. Additionally, this also helps to center our attention on our professional growth, and therefore, the most crucial type of content material or subject matter that we should incorporate into the majority of our lessons are these principles.
In worksheet number 2 titled, My Ideal Learning Environment, 3 learning outcomes are intended to achieve. Schools are considered the students' second homes and teachers as their second parents. Schools are the ideal places for molding learners due to the fact that they shape their educational experiences and have an impact on learners' physical, social, emotional, and psychological well-being while they acquire knowledge and at the same time improve their abilities as well. A comfortable learning environment has significance for the reason that it stimulates and empowers students to excel academically. The school facilities are essential too because they induce learners' interest, provide comfort for students to attend classes, may reduce the likelihood of students becoming ill. Further, learners require relevant facilities with which they may interact, as well as a facility that facilitates learning in order to achieve various learning outcomes and improve educational quality.
Our team observed the action classes noting the various management strategies utilized by the teachers from Stanza National High School. The school is located in Lingayen, Pangasinan on Don Pastor Moran. Each facility is not limited to charts, diagrams, visualizations, and any other appropriate materials. Learners, instructors, and staff from Stanza National High School were able to freely communicate with one another thanks to these diversified facilities, allowing them to at least achieve the various learning outcomes and increase educational quality. Furthermore, the impact of the environment on the learners play an important role in their students' life because this school offers a convenient classroom that can enhance the students' motivation, which also affect their full potential to learn and become more illustrious of their attitude, being diligent, well-disciplined, mindful, resourceful, and confident.
Classroom management that is conducive to learning is having a great place of learning, wherein it makes the learners comfortable by having the excellent learning materials like books that the students may need it on their learning. A proper ventilation that gives comfortable feeling to the students, and in order to ease the heat during summer or sunny day. Enough space in the classroom, and a classroom that is away from the crowd or noise outside that may distract the learners on their learning. Classroom is not just having communication to their students, instructor, nor their peers, but also to develop their macro skills inside the classroom, like developing the reading skills, writing skills, listening skills, and lastly the speaking skills, which determines the student's strengths and weaknesses in the future.
As teachers, if we're going to design a school environment that is safe, secure, and supportive, it should be conducive to learning. These involve establishing a proper classroom setting, having well-organized instructional materials, and providing effective teaching that educates learners about maintaining cleanliness inside and outside the classroom, as well as teaching good disciplinary manners and building positive relationships with the learners. In addition to our group's realization, we understand that classroom management has a significant impact on learning. If the classroom is unorganized and lacks proper teaching for students, it will negatively affect their learning experience. To design our learning environment, there should be a simple educational design based on the teaching subject. A proper classroom design shall benefit students by including good ventilation, sufficient space for classroom learning, proper lighting, strong learning materials, and a commitment to maintaining cleanliness both inside and outside the classroom.
All students gain benefit by encouraging inclusivity, raising awareness of intercultural education, and using a culturally sensitive teaching strategy. Increasing intercultural awareness and inclusion not only promotes acceptance and helps students get ready to flourish in an increasingly varied world, but it is also helps students with diverse backgrounds and needs to succeed, most importantly to their own life. Field Study 1, Worksheet number 3, entitled Distinctive of a Learner in a Diverse Classroom, instills the diversity of learners, offers an opportunity to comprehend how student interactions in schools are impacted by differences in gender, race, culture, and religion, as well as to learn about the methods and approaches teachers employ to deal with an array of diversity and inclusivity in the classroom. This also unveils the different characteristics and needs of learners from different development levels, as well as in choosing the effective strategies to address the diverse needs of the learners.
After knowing and understanding about the diversity of the learners, we've done another observation guide for the learners' characteristics that is composed of different questions about the behavior and interaction of the learners to each other and as well as towards their teacher in a virtual classroom. It is an important thing to do as it allows us to observe the behavior of the teacher and students in the teaching and learning process. Aside from that, the worksheet also has an observation for 3 learners from different grade levels, which allow us to know the differences of their personalities and characteristics in every development domain. All in all, having these kinds of observations from the students can help us future teachers to better understand why a child might be having difficulties while learning, and as well as knowing their needs and interests, which will help us come up with a solution that will make improvements of the learning environment and be effective in our teaching.
You remember a dozen high school classes written by Babong that contained different characteristics of students within the school, and he gave a definition. Just in this part, it was explained that teachers have different characteristics when it comes to teaching, so do students within the school. As a teacher, he or she will play how we can get the interest of each student according to their different characteristics. As a teacher, it also is a responsibility that the students learn something in the class or the subject he teaches.
Likewise, our insights were shared in this portion, where it was mentioned that understanding students, being sensitive to them, being ready to support them in their growth are all parts of what it takes to be a teacher. It is undeniable that teaching is quite challenging, but for our pledged dream, we will give it our all and take concrete steps to improve learning outcomes while having a healthy learning environment. Despite any circumstances, we need to bridge the gap in between because we are all entitled to have a quality education. It's about broadening the human story and ensuring all cultures and backgrounds are recognized equally. Without being said, the greatest asset of the classroom is its students' diversity. Inclusion of students represents learning and working with equality, equity, and harmony in each classroom, space, or workplace. It does promote a higher sense of respect, kinship, satisfaction, as well as providing best in quality education, believing in the code that inclusive education brings all learners together in one classroom and one community. Indeed, with inclusivity, every child feels safe and has a sense of belonging.
Worksheet 4 is about the teaching learning resources, ICT, and the curriculum. Instill to us the ability of instructors to arrange learning in new ways, to integrate technology effectively with the pedagogy, to establish socially active classrooms, and to cooperative learning and group work will be critical to the successful integration of ICT in the learning environment.
We borrowed a lesson plan or daily lesson log from our cooperating or resource teacher in Stanza National High School. Through the borrowed lesson plan, we identified how the teacher made its daily lesson to meet the different elements or components of a curriculum. One component is the behavioral objectives, and we observed that the teacher aligned their learning outcomes based on the MELTs. For the content of it, the resource teacher aligned it with the intended learning outcomes. Upon observing, there are also different teaching and learning strategies applied by the teacher, such as cooperative learning and student-centered teaching. For the assessment or evaluation, the teachers are conducting it in line with the learning objectives to achieve it and track the students' progress. The PowerPoint presentation, laptop, and TV are the ICT resources which are often used by the teachers in applying all the procedures. For the non-ICT resources, the books or textbooks and some instructional materials were also used.
We had an in-depth analysis of how such a curriculum in the DepEd schools exists, whereas our knowledge regarding this one was purely based on the K-12 basic education curriculum that was taught by our instructors and also served as our foundation for education. Moreover, this course guide or material was given to the schools of jurisdiction from the school's division office, in which teachers are guided by this curricula. In light of this, it is essential for us to study and comprehend such curriculum to become capable and knowledgeable teachers in the future. Likewise, a refinement is required to determine whether something can contribute or cannot have favorable influence. An educational experience can be effectively organized and can contribute to the attainment of intended learning outcomes in accordance with the level of students and what is required for a given period after the beneficial experience has been determined. There are different methods and strategies for the students to learn, which has increased considerably because of technology such as integrating unconventional experiences like games and interactive games. The games we're talking about are not merely about having fun, but also acquiring awareness and graphs of knowledge. Further, to maintain an interactive class that achieves the goals and intended learning outcomes, we teachers need to be well prepared and adaptable in their learning methods, which is equally important to allow students to earn and gain wisdom independently without being overly reliant on teachers.
So, working full-time requires a lot of effort from teachers, especially when it comes to planning lessons, giving assessments, and anticipating the behavior of students, mostly for disrupted students, and developing engaging classroom to enhance the students' potential. Further, the curriculum should be designed and planned in a way that makes learning faster and easier, which comprises the intended learning outcomes, instructional techniques, motivation, and intervention. As a pre-service teacher, we will encourage our students to learn actively or have a keen interest in the subject by doing or being straightforward and time-bound, so really need to be well-planned. Apart from that, we will impart life lessons and shared experiences that will inspire them to work hard. With that, we are the ones responsible for conveying and imparting knowledge and right behavior that we want to impose on their minds. We are not merely teaching but also inspiring and encouraging them to be successful soon. Moreover, setting achievable and appropriate learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies are usually discussed thoroughly. These are simple and easy affirmations, quantifiable and observable assessments that outline what students will be able to perform after a certain period. At this point, the student-centered approach is focused on students' performances and of what students should be able to do at the end of the lesson, rather than integrating a pure teacher-centered approach. And in this essence, considering all the students' experiences that arise during the teaching and learning processes are highly and firmly encouraged.
Assessment should be a way to empower students to take ownership of their own learning according to Ms. Lorna and Earl. The quotation essentially supports an assessment strategy that is student-centered and uses techniques of evaluation that are intended to empower learners, increase self-awareness, and encourage a more meaningful and in-depth interaction with the educational process. It emphasizes how crucial assessment is to developing autonomous, self-driven students. An essential component of education and professional development is evaluating learning results and giving feedback. It guarantees that students have met their learning objectives and aids in their development. In order to support ongoing development and success, we will discuss different approaches to evaluating learning outcomes and how to provide feedback in an efficient manner.
Assessment involves collecting and analyzing information to assess an individual's or a group's proficiency, skills, capabilities, or performance in a specific field or subject. Its significance lies in not just measuring academic advancement, but also in directing teaching approaches, pinpointing areas for enhancement, and delivering constructive feedback to enrich the learning process, thereby promoting an ongoing cycle of educational enhancement. Teachers use various assessment tools, such as assessment of learning, that is known as summative assessment, assessment as learning, where students actively engage in self-reflection, and lastly, assessment for learning, also known as formative assessment. It also explores different assessment activities that support traditional and non-traditional learning outcomes. Active questioning is important as it stimulates critical thinking, enhancement comprehension, and facilitates efficient communication. It motivates individuals to delve into concepts, pursue knowledge, and reveal concealed insights. Thereby, with this observation part, it seeks guidelines on test construction and art of questioning that the teacher used in every assessment activity that had been done.
These assessment tools aid in achieving intended learning outcomes for students. It helps the teachers to identify which area should be provided intervention to cater learners' needs. Additionally, various assessment tools such as the scoring rubrics, TOS, summative and formative tests were introduced in this part. Recording of learners' assessment scores was also mentioned which determine the current academic level of a learner. As the results reflect what the learners learned throughout the learning process, communicating the results was also part of assessing the learners. Teachers provide constructive feedback to students to determine what are the areas of strength and areas for improvement to enhance their academic performance.
As learners were composed of diverse individuals with different learning needs, therefore, teachers must ensure that their provided interventions accommodate it. Moreover, we also learn that the appropriateness of administered assessment to learners must be put in mind in the preparation stage, thus in this way, students can receive the learnings expected of them to perform. One of the teacher's duties is to ensure learning objectives are congruent with prepared assessments for learners to adequately acquire the necessary competencies they need to learn. These assessment tools are significant for teachers, as this will aid them to deliver the requisite learning activities and assessments that need to be prepared or given for the students. To measure the degree of learning from each criterion attained by their students, an assessment tool is a guide for them in how they are going to divide those criteria of competencies from the Bloom's taxonomy. In addition, with the help of an assessment tool, the learner's performance can be assessed fairly, as it will measure what should be evaluated from the performance of the learners.
Excellence, leadership, and determination, three things a professional teachers need. The focus of our workshop is all about the teacher's skills and their connection to the community. This helps us understand the various aspects of building strong relationship and trust among teachers, students, parents, and community. Community especially play a significant role in education. As Miriam Wright Edelman once said, education is for improving the lives of others and for living your community and the world better than you found it.
As a pre-service teacher, we discovered that the extension efforts should be a bridge to improve and expand the reach of research-based evidence and technical information from academe to stakeholders in need. Teachers with extension jobs should focus their efforts on sharing the results for the benefits of the society. This is where the extension experts can shine by developing techniques for reaching and educating the audience, where the findings will have the greatest impact.
Everyone has analyzed and found out the importance of community participation in schools is greatly benefiting from the processes. Here we also found out that it needs to be involved or given attention, because here there is a simple recognition of the parents to have a relationship and strong communication that will be the way to facilitate the tasks or processes, if needed, by the parents or people in the community itself. In addition, between a good relationship between parents and teachers, parents can better focus or help the teachers to tell the lack or should focus on their children. Through that, the teacher can more easily teach what and where he is lacking. The teacher will not have a hard times to guess what they are struggling. In conclusion, the good relationship between the community or parents and the teachers and the participation is one of the strong foundations in the learning processes of a student, so that they can focus more and help where they are lacking.
As a future teacher and as a citizen of the community, there are three reasons how you can create or publish the arrangement or cooperation between the school and the community. First, proper communication is needed. The very first step to have a proper plan of what to do and how you can overcome a desire. Having a proper communication is the reason to be more open to suggestion and recommendation from each other. Second, have a good plan on how the two will have a good relationship and company so that they support each other if necessary. Having a good plan can give assurance that you will be able to overcome the desire that you want to establish. Third, unity. Even in anything when it comes to the organization job, a community unity is needed because it will be the way to implement plan faster and more smooth if everyone is united. Those two importance of volunteerism and having a self-discipline will help to establish properly and have collaboration between the school and the community. In this section, prepare the future full-fledged teacher on how can taste and think if it's in their situation. This preparation and question can give us help so that we can better think and plan and above all to put it into practice. In conclusion, as a future teacher, it is necessary to know this early so that you can be better prepared, and when you are in the situation, you know what to do.
eye to eye, hand on hand, step by step. Now, we're gradually maturing and becoming aware of the path. Yet, we know we're still growing and learned as we pass each paging. However, we can say that we're ready. We're ready.